NBC News in depth tonight, your money. Two pocketbook issues that affect millions of Americans. First, raising the minimum wage. It's always a hot political button, but in this election year, even more so. Why are Congress and the president so at odds? We begin tonight's in-depth reporting with NBC's Lisa Myers.
For Dwayne Berry and 10 million other low-wage workers, finally hope for a pay raise they say is long overdue. Berry, who works for a transportation company, lives with his retired father to save money and pays child support for his daughter.
I don't think $5.15 is fair to anyone that, is trying to work and I mean, you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car, you can't get an apartment.
Despite a booming economy, the minimum wage of $5.15 an hour hasn't gone up in 3 years. The House bill passed last night would boost it $1 to $6.15 an hour over 2 years. The Senate favors a slower phase-in. Critics complain even that isn't enough. To move a family of 4 out of poverty, experts say a father or mother working full-time would need to earn $8.19 an hour.
So the intent of the minimum wage law was to have a wage in which people could really live a life out of poverty.
But small businesses warn that raising the minimum wage hurts everyone. Ken Miller, who owns a small grocery store, says he doesn't mind the change, but insists he'll have to pass on higher costs by raising prices. Box of Raisin Bran. How much more will it cost?
Box of Raisin Bran now is $2.89. It could go up 10 to 20 cents.
Will the pay raise become law? Republicans want billions of dollars in business tax cuts to go with it. The president threatens a veto. A moderate Republican predicts a compromise.
It's tough, I think, to be on the wrong side of an issue that's almost 80% that the American public thinks ought to happen.
Especially tough in an election year, when tens of millions of low-income Americans have yet to benefit from a sizzling economy, and politicians are jockeying for their votes. Lisa Myers, NBC News, the Capitol.
When times are this good, as they are for so many Americans, more and more people are eating out every day. It's estimated there are more than 830,000 restaurants in the United States. This year, it is expected that food and beverage purchases at restaurants will exceed $130 billion. But what's the real cost of a meal on your plate? Tonight, in conjunction with the Wall Street Journal, the truth about dinner out. NBC's Jim Abla continues our reporting in depth.
8 o'clock on a busy night at Tarantino's in Chicago.
What do we have, the rigatoni Roma?
Yeah. A good night. 112 customers, dropping an average $31 a person. If you think you're paying more, you are. Across the country, menu prices rising faster than the inflation rate 4 years in a row.
I think that that's a pretty fair price for a night's entertainment because basically restaurants are entertainment for people.
But despite the price hikes, the National Restaurant Association says half of America dines out once a day. Most know there's a markup, but few realize the industry standard is 300%. And even higher on some surprising items. 3 dishes: salmon, T-bone, pasta. Which is most profitable? Believe it or not, it's not the steak. This 2-pound piece of prime beef cost the restaurant $17. The salad and potato come with it for a total cost of $20. Menu price $37.75, an 89% markup. But pasta at the same restaurant, mastacholi with sautéed marinara, which costs less than $5 to make, brings $14 at the table. Markup 280%. And the winner? Salmon. 8 ounces cost the restaurant $4.40. And with the vegetables, $7 wholesale. Menu price $21. Markup 300%.
We don't make a whole lot of money on the T-bone steak or any of our beef.
In fact, the highest markups are on side dishes and salads. Pennies to make dollars on the menu. Brian Buckley of Peter Kump's New York Cooking School says restaurants actually don't want you to order the most expensive item on the menu.
Something in the middle range, perhaps chicken or an inexpensive fish, would actually generate more profit than the steak or the dish with truffles.
Tracking prices, critical business for restaurants. Framingham, Massachusetts, the real Tennessee barbecue, real fast, uses a computer that breaks down the cost of a dish down to a teaspoon of salt.
Well, we can pinpoint exactly where, literally, to every penny of the food cost goes to.
Critical because after paying for rent, labor, utilities, advertising, and taxes, the industry says that 300% markup reduced to an average 4% profit. Much of that coming from that very popular, very profitable 8-ounce piece of fish. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
We'll have more news when I come back. And home of the brave, her sweetheart was killed in action in World War II. 56 years later, a touching reunion with the last man to see him alive.